My life took an unexpected turn when I discovered my wife, Elizabeth, had been having an affair. The betrayal shattered the trust we'd built over a decade together. As we struggled to decide the fate of our marriage, fate seemed to intervene. Elizabeth's car was rear-ended by a reckless driver just down the street, leaving her unharmed but delivering a poignant reminder that our actions have consequences. In the end, we decided to part ways, seeking happiness in different directions, as I hoped to find a future where honesty and love would be the foundation of my next chapter. I never thought I'd be the protagonist of a story like this. It's funny how life takes unexpected turns, leaving you stunned and bewildered. My name is Elizabeth, and this is the story of how my life took a twist that even the most imaginative novelist couldn't conjure. I had always believed that I had a strong and loving marriage with my wife, Elizabeth. We had been together for over a decade, and every day with her had been a blessing. We shared our dreams, built a home, and created a life that seemed perfect. But, as they say, appearances can be deceiving. One day, while sipping coffee and scrolling through my social media feed, a message notification popped up on my screen. It was from an unknown sender, but the contents of the message froze my heart. It was a series of intimate messages and pictures exchanged between Elizabeth and another man. My mind went blank, and a feeling of betrayal swept over me. I confronted Elizabeth that evening, tears in my eyes as I showed her the messages. She couldn't deny it. She had been having an affair, and my world came crashing down. She admitted her guilt, her voice quivering as she apologized for her actions. But sorry wasn't going to mend the trust that was now shattered beyond repair. The days that followed were agonizing. I wrestled with the decision of whether to forgive and rebuild or to walk away from the life we had built together. But fate had something else in store for Elizabeth. One sunny afternoon, Elizabeth left the house to run some errands. As I sat alone in our living room, contemplating our future, a loud commotion outside caught my attention. I rushed to the window, and what I saw left me in shock. There, just a few houses down the street, I witnessed Elizabeth's car being rear-ended by another vehicle. It was a minor accident, but it caused her car to spin and collide with a lamppost. My heart raced as I ran outside, fearing the worst. I reached the scene to find Elizabeth shaken but thankfully unhurt. The other driver, however, was not so lucky. He had been driving recklessly, and his car had suffered extensive damage. The police arrived, and the man was handed a ticket for his reckless driving. I comforted Elizabeth, grateful that she was safe. But as we waited for the tow truck, I couldn't help but feel a strange sense of karma at play. It was as if the universe had intervened to balance the scales. Elizabeth's infidelity had brought her momentary misfortune, a reminder that our actions have consequences. In the days that followed, Elizabeth and I decided to part ways. Our marriage was too broken to mend, and the trust we once had was irreparably damaged. We both moved on with our lives, seeking happiness in different directions. Sometimes, life has a way of delivering poetic justice. Elizabeth's instant karma served as a painful reminder that actions have repercussions, and the choices we make can come back to haunt us. As I move forward, I hope to find a future where honesty, trust, and love would be the foundation of my next chapter. Story 2. My name is Mark, and for years, my life with my wife Lisa was a testament to the beauty of trust and companionship. Our love was a steady flame that had burned bright through the seasons of life. We shared our dreams, our laughter, and our secrets, believing that our bond was unbreakable. Little did I know that a storm was brewing on the horizon, a tempest that would shatter my world and introduce me to the curious ways of karma. It all started innocently enough. I was sitting in our cozy living room one evening, flipping through a photo album filled with memories of our journey together. But as I put the album down and reached for my phone, a message notification caught my eye. It was a message from an unknown sender, the username a string of numbers and letters. My curiosity piqued. I opened the message. What I found within those digital lines was a devastating revelation. It was a series of intimate messages and explicit photos exchanged between Lisa and another man, a co-worker she had frequently mentioned as a friend. My heart pounded as I read their words that painted a picture of a secret love affair that had been flourishing under my nose. The world around me seemed to blur, and a weight settled in my chest, a weight that only betrayal can bring. With trembling hands, I confronted Lisa later that evening, my voice barely above a whisper as I showed her the messages. Her face turned ashen, her eyes filled with guilt, and she couldn't deny it. Tears welled up in her eyes as she admitted to the affair, her words heavy with remorse. She begged for forgiveness, claiming that it was a momentary lapse in judgment, a mistake that she deeply regretted. But the trust that had been the cornerstone of our marriage was shattered, and I found myself at a crossroads. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions, a tempest of anger, hurt, and confusion. I grappled with the decision that loomed before me, torn between forgiving and rebuilding or walking away from the life we had built together. It was during this tumultuous period that karma decided to make its entrance. One sunny afternoon, as Megan left the house to run some errands, I sat alone in our living room, lost in thought. But my solitude was soon interrupted by a cacophony of horns and screeching tires from outside. I rushed to the window, my heart racing, and what I witnessed left me in shock. Just a few houses down the street, I saw Megan's car being rear-ended by another vehicle. It was a minor accident, but the force of the impact sent her car spinning until it collided with a lamppost. Panic coursed through my veins as I ran outside, fearing the worst. When I reached the scene of the accident, I found Megan sitting in her car, visibly shaken but thankfully unharmed. The driver of the other vehicle, however, was not as fortunate. He had been driving recklessly, swerving through traffic, and his car had suffered extensive damage in the collision. The police arrived shortly after, and the man was handed a ticket for his reckless driving. I held Megan close, relieved that she was safe, but my mind couldn't help but wonder about the peculiar turn of events. It was as if fate had intervened, orchestrating this accident to balance the scales in some cosmic way. Megan's infidelity had brought her momentary misfortune, serving as a stark reminder that our actions have consequences. In the days that followed, Megan and I faced the painful reality that our marriage was too broken to mend. The trust we once held dear had been irrevocably damaged. We decided to part ways, each of us seeking happiness in different directions, hoping to find a future where honesty, trust, and love would be the foundation of our next chapter. It was a painful and arduous journey, but I couldn't help but marvel at the ironic twist of fate that had befallen Megan. Her instant karma, in the form of a car accident caused by another driver's recklessness, served as a stark reminder that the universe has a way of balancing the scales. It was a reminder that actions, both good and bad, have repercussions, and that we are all bound by the intricate web of cause and effect. As I moved forward with my life, I carried the lessons of this tumultuous chapter with me. I knew that while the pain of betrayal could be soul-crushing, it was possible to find healing and redemption on the other side. I hoped that one day, I would find a future where trust was unwavering, love was genuine, and the scars of the past were merely reminders of the strength it took to move forward. Then, this is it for this video. Thanks for watching. I see you next time.